This conference will now be recorded.
So now, hi everybody. Hi Joonas again, and I told them that you have prepared the answers on our questions, but it's really tough to just skip you to the talk. But if they have some questions, they will try it. So it's information for you. But this meeting is totally discussion. So just take the questions, and now I think that we can start it. Okay, Joonas, now it's yours.
Yeah, thanks. So hi everybody, and who knows me that if nobody stops me, I'm just gonna talk and talk and talk all along. So if in any point you have any questions, just don't be afraid to ask. I have this material that and these are the questions that I got from you. I don't go it through here. We're gonna go like I have 6 questions on 6 topics, and we're gonna go through like question by question. So if you don't have time to read it now, don't be afraid. I think we're gonna go straight to the first question and first topic. The first question that I had, like our strategy of team composition, like regarding on adult team, and additional question about experienced older players. How are we be able to keep them on the game, and also like how do we change the thing, like when the older players, like are they quitting themselves or are we replacing them with young players? On how does the system work? Basically, I think is the question. I'm gonna leave it here a little bit so you can have time to read it. But basically, I think the question is like about how do we like build up the adult team and how do we work with the older players in that. If I go forward, I put some notes. Some of the material that I have it's like mostly notes for me, but maybe I start with the older players. Few things that I feel is important. Every time the player is older, he's more and more interested in conditions, because often they have like family and they are at the work life, or they might be so good in floorball that they don't have work but they want to work in floorball. So conditions are the key thing for older players. I think of course it's every time dependable on the player, but of course most of our, like when I think of our men's team, like most of the money is going to the top 5 players and the most experienced ones. And as a club we have like 2 players now who are fully working at the club also, Jani Kukkola and Lauri Kapanen, and they are doing several things like coaching, instructing different kind of groups, do lots of school marketing and different kind of things that we have to do in the club. So I think they are working in about 15 hours in a week, all the other things, and then after that 15 hours they are playing floorball. And so they have like a professional like chance to train as professionals like 2 times in a day. One thing as coach perspective, what I feel is important is like give some freedom to older players, because I think every older player, if you have like kids and everything, it's hard to combine maybe work, family and playing floorball. So older players need lots of freedom. Like if you have like physical trainings, some of the older players are doing it in their home or close to their home or even at work, because they have showed that coaches can trust them. So and they understand it often that all the training they are doing it for themselves. So it's always like dependable on a player and a character, but still I feel that older players have always like more freedom to train on their own. And also I think one of the key things which I don't have on the screen is like hierarchy, or how it's said, like in a team, like that it's they have like clear communication channel to the coaches, because lots of older players have lots of opinions, and it's important that players feel that the coaches are listening to me, and I can have an effect on the game. And if I think of on our team, like men's first team, like Kapanen Kukkola, for example, and Mika Moilanen, they are similar age as our head coach Bengt Lodenius. So, and they have been in floorball for like 25 years. So they have quite good experience and lots of opinions how different kind of things are being solved, like in the game or outside of the pitch and everything. So it's important that they have the feeling that they are respected from the coaches and the club also, and they can say their opinion, that they can affect on the game and how the team is working. So I think that's big thing as a coach, because you can't really go to say to like Jani Kukkola and you have to do this and this and say it like I know better, like as a coach. You can't do it. Like you just have to like find a way to, you know, get a common idea, like we are doing this together, and ask like how would you solve this problem and what would you do, and have the feeling for the experienced players. And it gives the feeling to experienced players that they are like respected, which they are really are. And from my perspective, it's the problems might be like starting that if we have like experienced player who has been used to get like some kind of contract, some kind of money, and if the player isn't so good anymore and isn't so important to the team anymore, nobody wants to get like lesser money or weaker contract that he has been used to, and those are always the tough situation for me. But I feel the most important thing is honesty. Just like say it how it is and how I see it. And every time that I try to tour it somehow, like say it on the other side, like it doesn't work. It's always like good to say out, okay, I think you're this and this important to the team, and we are expecting these and these things for the next season and everything. If I'm honest, I think they are mostly honest to me also. And every year we evaluate things with every player, like how important is he for the team, and how important he would be also in the future, because we are trying to do two things in the same time, like for example next season we are trying to build up, okay, we already have built up the team, but it's like we are trying to succeed next season, but also we're trying to make sure that we will succeed in 5 years from here. So we have to have these two angles all the time, that we are building up the team. And I have like some notes about the composition of the team. And first of all, we have 7 different kinds of levels of deals for players, and it's wide open for the players. And I always go through with the players when I do contracts. And deal is based always on their performance. Also, it can be if we don't have so many players in a certain position, or player is bringing some experience or something like that, some extra to the team, also leadership, good cabin players who are like fun for the team. Those are important. So it might have an effect on the deal. And I go through our deal system like at next dia. But we always evaluate players on our own. We have own opinion for the players. It's of course we always want the players to get to the national teams, but level of the contract doesn't require that they are selected in national teams, because it's someone else's opinion, not our club's. So we are doing always like own evaluation for the players. As for the structure for the team, we always want that we have like 2 first lineup with quality, and at least 1 lineup that have experience from the league. It can be that you know, some of the players with 2 first lineup are unexperienced, but we see the potential, and we want them to be the key players also. But also we want some like experience behind those 2 first lineup, and rest of the players, like we have like I think 30 about 29 I think contracts, always like 25 to 29 contracts in our men's team. We want most of the team to be prospects who are going forward and who are really gonna be in that scale that 5 years from now they're gonna be the back spine of the team. And about schedule, next year's team is always built mostly before Christmas, because we want to, like, we have like options in deals, and it's always like end of November that players has to decide that are they going to play for us next season, and we also make the decisions then, because then we have time to react if something goes wrong. And most of the player contracts are done before the Christmas. Of course, some are open, like still we have 2 players open, but it's like only 1 or 2 players who are open. Next is the contract levels that we have, and I hope everybody can see these good. But we have like first category is like star player category. It means that the player is regular player in men's national team, or we see him that way, that this player should be regular player in men's national team, and also Florbal League's top player, as we can see it. Second level is key player, which means that the player, when the season starts, I never, and the coaches never say to player that, okay, you're gonna play with him or him, or that you have certain role. These are expectations for the players, that we expect this player to be in 2 first lineups. And it means that probably he is like in wider national team selection, like 40 players or something, or under 23 national team lineup. And most of the players have also special situations like power play or short-handed responsibility. When the season starts, as I said, these are expectations. Third sector is like playing role, which means that the player have been playing Florbal League at least 1 year, but we can see that this player is able to play in Florbal League in playing role in 3 first lineups most of the games. And after that, if player can do it, he will get also some money from the playing. And the first 3 categories are that players get some money from Florbal also, that they are playing. Star players are mostly like, it's close to profession, and the playing role part, it's mostly like some bonuses or some little money, but that's the idea. Fourth category is team member, and most of those players have been in U19 World Championships. They have played some league games, but the most important thing, if the player gets this contract, it means that he has been in our Divari team, like academy. In here, he has been a key player in there, so he has to be one of the players who are really decisive for success of academy. So he can he have shown us that he can play in men's level and also being a leading player in there. And these players don't like pay anything for playing floorball. So it's like 4 of the first categories are like the real league team. I think it's normally it's like 20 players plus 2 goalkeepers. These four first categories. Then it's the fifth category.
Joonas, do you know the exact numbers with, for example, how many star players you have, how many key players, how many players role and team members?
We try to make it like goal is always like 5 about in each category, but I think we have now like 4 star players, which I think are Kapanen, Kukkola, Moilanen, and Strandberg, who are at currently men's national team, like regular players as we see it, and then about 5 or 6 key players, 5 maybe playing role players, and maybe 5 to 6 team members, about that. And but the next category is the training group, which means that all the rest of the guys who have league contract are training with men's team, but most of the matches that they are playing are at A juniors or academy, but they are like the first guys who will fill up the league team, and we see them. We always have like longer contract with these players, with training group players. It's like at least 2 plus 1 year contracts, and we do the development program with them. Most of the players are they have a goal to be in U19 World Championships in Brno. Like we have like now I think 4 or 5 players who are really fighting for the place at the Finland team, and all of them are like in this training group. And we are expecting that during that contract they will rise up to the team and be team members, and if they can. And we have like this kind of like level that if the player is playing 13 matches, which is like half of the league season in men's team, he will like the contract will change to team member contract, because then the player has been like playing a lot of mostly in the league, not in the academy or juniors. But it's like contract with that first year they will pay like something, next year less, and the third year is free. It's normal like team member contract in the third year of those contracts. And then also we have like 2 other contract levels, which are not league contract but academy contract and junior contract, which means academy contract is a player who can't play in juniors, but he's paying like a lot less in playing in Divari as he would in juniors. And a junior contract is like junior age player who is like paying full seasonal fee for playing. So basically those are the contract levels, and I try to make it as open as I can to the players, because like and we have good discussions, and I think the players rarely are like disagreeing with me that in which category do they belong, because we can I can say it like if somebody who is like thinks he is a key player, but I can say like, okay, you like scored 6 times like last season, and you're not still like, it's not the number that we would expect from the key player. It's still like playing role player, and we try to collect as many facts as we can, so the players are mostly like agreeing in which level they are on. So that's about the first question. Do you have additional questions on that subject? Anyone?
I'm not sure if is he Mate's Klucho, because I think that it was his questions. I'm not sure now actually.
Mates had to go to hospital with his wife, so he will watch video from this conference.
Okay.
Okay, somebody
can-
have some other questions?
Yeah. I can see Matej as an experienced player wanted to know how do we, respect the older players. He's an experienced player also. Other questions?
Yes, I have one. Hi, Joonas.
Yep. Hi.
In women, you have the role also in women team, like star player, key player, playing role.
Yeah, we do. I just got here from. I didn't have time to translate it to the women. We have similar in women's league team, and the idea is mostly that in women's team, first two categories are that the women's team players are playing for free, like because in Finland most of the Finnish floorball league teams like players are paying for the floorball. In our club it's like half of the team it's playing for free, and half of the team are paying like a little fee about playing, because so we can like keep the level high in women's team also. But categories are the same, like pretty much the same in here, but the only difference is it's like about money, so in men's team and it's all because of men's team has lots of more sponsors. That's the most important thing. In club's perspective, we are like quite what's the name of the like, but we give same amount of money from the club in women's and men's team, like but sponsors are the biggest difference, and also like spectators. So men's team is like more interesting, and they have like more money, so they can pay to the players. But in women's team we use the money that the players doesn't have to pay. So we have the similar system in women's team also.
Okay, thanks. And do you ask them before Christmas if they will play next season for Erä?
Yeah, we do, but it's quite difficult with women's team. Some players we try. It's like we are trying to. In men's team, we have succeeded to change the culture also, like in that way. Every year, like I think last 3 years have been like that. Men's team is mostly okay for next season before the Christmas, but in women's team it's much later. I think we still have like 5 or 6 players open at this point, but it's, I think the motives for playing is a little bit different in the women's team. They are always wanting that they have friends in the team. They always think, is it what's my role, and they are like, I think it's a little bit different in women's team, but and it's same thing but later, like as it is in men's team. So no, we don't have like at that point. I think half of the team or more is like before Christmas, but I think almost half of the team is open still, like in after Christmas in women's team.
Okay.
Joonas, here, sorry. The question is from the Kubo Lukasik. Do players know about the other players' team role or only their own role?
They know their own role, but I have this same dia. I do it every year with the coaches, and we like categorize and name the players. At some players, I show also like it's not like a secret for the players, because I prefer that it's more like open thing. Like if you're better than Kukkola, then you can have a star player contract. Like it's like it's not a secret, but I not with every player I go it through, but most of the players I also say that okay, and I have that the same day I have the list of the players who are at the and in current contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sharko, do you have some other questions? Sorry.
It's okay. It's enough. Thanks for answer.
Yeah. So, are we going to the next question?
Yeah,
I think we are.
Going.
Okay. Yeah. So, the second question was explanation of the system of our coaches strategy. How is it managed and controlled, and how we are like doing the coaching strategy and vision, and how the coaches are fulfilling it. That's the question, and I can start with this. It's like our sports management sector. I'm the management, but then I mostly work with our professionals who are like under me, and we have like 3 head of coaches, and I added one now because next season we will have one additional head of coach who is going to focus on girl teams only, and so we have 4 head of coaches who are responsible in different age category, and under them are working all the coaches. And it's the same thing also with in this dia is also like men's and women's league head coaches, and under them are the league coaches, coaching staff. And also we have physical head of physical coaching and head of goalkeeper coaching who are responsible on those areas, and I mostly discussed with them, and they are discussing weekly with the coaches in the teams, and this is like the system that we have. And this is like when I think of this is like a how are we managing the systems. If we decide that we want to do something, this is the system that should work on that every coach knows that what we are trying to do as a club, and every like professional level, everybody has responsibility on their own sector to make it sure that that the coaches are following our vision and the strategy. And under ENG boys in here are also like age group coaches. It's like at next dia it's also a little bit new thing for us, but we have been trying it last season and now doing it a little bit more. And so this is the system, and about roles, what everybody is doing. And the left side are the like work of the head of coaches, who are the key persons, and everybody has. In boys side we have 3, and 1 is with the girls teams, and their job is like to be our presenters in the age groups, making sure that everybody is following our coaching line. And the second job what they have like they have to be coach of coaches, so they have to develop coaches, mentor coaches. I think mostly like in the mental side. in my experience, like lots of coaches need lots of preparation on mental coaching, on mental side. But in every category, like sector of coaching, like they are supporting our coaches and try to be coach of coaches. Then also their job is to manage and execute the coaching line in every age group, and they use time in like the idea is 2 times in a month, but it's has lots of differences because we have this FBA national team road events, which are every B to D juniors. I think later on this presentation there's something about it, but there are like 9 days in a year that they spend at Eerikkilä Sports Institute, and that's like in those to those clubs, it's like a important time because head of coaches are there with the team and with the coaches 24 hours, and they are like really into like what the teams are doing and everything. And head of coaches doesn't do like, because these are full-time jobs for us, and they don't just do that, they do lots of different kinds of things, but this is like the most important part of their job. Like for example, Tommy Rastas, who is like A and B junior head of coach, he's also coaching our league team and academy, and Jukka Lehto, who is like our younger juniors E to G head of coach, he's physical side head of coach also, and physical coach in our club. But in C and D juniors, which are like I think to 12 to 16, I think age groups, Jouni Olkkonen is mostly focusing on this, because I think those are the most demanding age groups in for head of coaches. But anyway, they are working as professionals and doing those kind of things. Then also we have age group coaches in younger juniors. We have like the idea is that we have a head coach of one total age group, like 2009 born. We have one coach who is head coach of all of our 2009 teams, and his job is like organize every training, what every coaches are doing, select the players to different kinds of playing groups. So he's doing, and also planning and everything. So he's doing most of the job which are doing outside of the events. So we have like lots of assistant coaches in every age category, and 2009 is oldest one next season, and under that every age category has age group coach. And so the other coaches just have to show up at the training like half an hour before the training, and they can hear from the head coach and the age group coach, okay, you have to do this and this, and our focus is to do this and this. So we try to a little bit help, and in this system I think we have had lots of good assistant coach who wouldn't have time to coach if we didn't have this kind of a system, because it's easy for them. Now they don't have to plan so much, they don't have to think it so much outside of the trainings, but someone responsibility is to do it. And also we get lots like a little bit new jobs from this also. And then we have also like head of physical coaches and head of goalkeeper coaching, whose job is like to work with the special coaches, like physical coaches, always discussing with our physical coaches, and goalkeeper coaches is talk with Toni Bexbacka, our head of goalkeeper coaching. So, and also they are developing the physical and goalkeeper coaching line, which are done in certain age groups in the club. So this is the question. This is the answer for the question. But do we have additional questions about this subject?
Maybe for everybody, it can be interesting how many players you have in teams.
In teams, I think in teams we have 800 to 900. I think, and we have like about 2,000 members of players, and it depends on a year, but it's 800 to 1,000 maybe in the teams. It mostly depends on youngest juniors, how many new juniors are coming in, but half of our members are at the hobby activities like florbal schools and those kind of things, which are like one time in a week florbal trainings. But half of the members are at the teams.
Okay, and for example, for one head of coaches, how many children or players he has in the group?
Oh yeah, like as in one team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. In younger teams are mostly like 30 players, maybe 40 even. Youngest, and then after D junior, which is like I think under 13 or something, it's like we divide like first teams, second teams, and third teams, and that kind of we do that kind of separation in that part. So then we have like 20 players about in one team. So it's really about that. There are differences, of course. I think in third category teams, like hobby teams, mostly might have like 15 players. But in first teams, we have like about 20 players and 2 goalkeepers.
Okay.
And, yep.
Somebody
Other
else?
questions?
Joonas, do you cooperate with any schools in Helsinki because of morning practices and so on? For
We do.
Older categories, for over 15 or something.
Yeah, we do. Actually, it has been changing, or it will be changing a lot in next year, because federation and especially in Helsinki, it has been a little bit problematic because it's not. We have like in second grade, is it college, older than 16 years old players. We have 2 sports schools in Helsinki, one at Vantaa, and it has been a little bit difficult because we have like lots of our players are in those 3 sports schools which provide morning practices, and it's hard for us to make a program for them because it's 3 different places. But in next season I have been working a lot with federation, and I got like this as a result that we arrange our own morning practices next season, and we get some money from the federation, some money from the schools also, because it's their students, and we are organizing the morning training. So next season it's going to be easier for us, and the federation discussion with all the biggest clubs in this area, like us, Esport Oilers, West End Indians, Tikkurilan Tigerit. Those are the biggest clubs in this part of Finland, and we have discussed that with these big clubs we try to make like own morning practices in future. But we of course we have to do a lot. In previous years we have to do a lot of collaboration with different school coaches. I myself am also like one of the school coach. It's easier for me that in our players, but it's in 3 different places and the 3 different groups. It has been like pretty hard to. In every week we have to make some program, and every week we have to make some contact to the school coaches, and it's quite hard. But now it's going to change, that we are going to arrange morning practices in our own.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Another questions or the next subject?
Okay, go to the next subject.
Oh yeah. So about our club's sports strategy, how often does it modified and developed? These are mostly my notes about the subject, but maybe the biggest thing is like it's never ready. The sports strategy and our coaching line, it's something that because most of the people think that you do some kind of coaching line and you put it up at the website or some paper or whatever, and then it's ready. but it never is, because floorball is like quite young sport, and it's going forward all the time, and so it has to be in like a little bit constant moving all the time and constant developing all the time. And of course, it's in this sense it's hard to combine the identity, so like that certain things that are always there, that like the key things, but then always like also combine that to that we have to be able to change things also, like in yearly basis. So once a year we do like big changes, or if we want to like bring up some new big subjects in certain categories or whatever, like we do it like this time of the year, and we present it in our starting meeting with the coaches, which is more normally in end of April or beginning of May. And then like next year is always like we are like in different kinds of groups and events. We are like gathering up information, making notes, like trying to think a little bit differently. And these are like the occasions that are like in which is the idea built, that me and our head of coaches are like presenting to all of our coaches, like always like beginning of next season, which is like beginning of May. And these occasions are the how it's been built, like, and because I mentioned earlier the FBA, which is like federations on Eerikylä Sports Institutes, like the program which collects all the big clubs in Finland. So I think it's about monthly that we have some meetings, and it's mostly head of coaches, of course also coaches, but when I think of like a whole sports strategy, we discuss it like monthly in some point, like for example last month we discussed about terminology in different clubs, like how is the game being talked in different clubs, and we try to find like common way to talk about floorball. But it's like slow. I think we had 2 meetings about the subject, and we still do have like another meeting in next month or this month. But anyway, it's one thing that we are comparing our way from other big clubs' ways, like Classic, TPS, Oilers, Indians, and those big clubs in Finland, and we compare each other like idea and methods and everything. So that's one thing. And the other thing is like me and head of coaches meetings, and it's always present that every coach head of coach meetings we discuss about things also, that okay, this subject and can we think of differently, and should we do it this way or that way, and that. And of course head of coaches discuss with our coaches in weekly basis, but they are always gathering also information, and coaches are always like saying like things that okay, should this in this age group should we do little bit like this and not that, and it's like communication all the time. And it's also like we gather up coaches, all coaches 5 times in a year. Mostly the schedule is like this, like as I said, we have the start meeting when we go through all the basic things in club and identity things and those kind of things. Then beginning of June we have physical like perspective and how our physical side done in Erä Viikingit, which kind of trainings, how this training thing organized, which kind of things should be done in each age group, and so on. And the same kind of meeting in August when the teams are coming back to the floorball practice. We have tactical education. Then we have October, we have mental education, and November, December about it's like playing, which is normally lots of watching videos or the live game and talking about the game and with the coaches. And also we have age group, which are like events which are led by head of coaches. So they gather up all of their category coaches together, and they go through only their age category things, like step by step what is being done in this age group, and discussed about it and change it if they want. And then it's coming from head of coaches to my table, and we discuss it, and then after the year we present the final outcome to the coaches. And also physical and goalkeeper coaches have monthly meetings where they evaluate things. So basically it's going like that. And even though we have like a full coaching system documented, and it's in my eWay system, probably we will do it also at in our website at some point, but now it's only in my eWay system, which our coaches are using, so they can check it out in there from there, like in different sectors, like what should they be doing with their team. But basically
Joonas,
it's like that. Yep.
Can you show us the system, just some basic information for everybody
about my eWay system?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can actually. I think I have it open here. I can share it the screen. Does it show?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's like
Just you have one category. Just if you can show us your son category, what type of information you have it.
Yeah, I can show it like in our coaching line. It's in here. I can translate it like this is a goalkeeper coaching line at Erä Viikingit. When I open it up, it says like key things in the beginning. Then it has age groups, like basic things in this age group in goalkeeper coaching, like for example. And then it's mental, physical, technique, tactical, game, coaches, like coach activity in Erä Viikingit. Culture and like ways how we are doing things like trainings, matches, how do we do it. Then the coaching system and the player path, like which kind of clubs or teams we do have in the team, and then terminology. And these are the basic things, big things. And under everything, like in here, like if I take the game thing, it's the same idea. In the beginning, we have like goal, what we are trying to achieve. This is like playing together. This is like with the ball. This is like controlling the game rhythm. Those three things that every one of our teams want to achieve. And this is like a goal. And this is like how do we measure it. So it's like in game, in every team, we want the team to play together. Then there's a goal, which means that every player are participating on playing with and without the ball. And then how can we measure it? Are they participating on the game? You can see it like watching the game, and it's easier to see. And then with the ball, we want to keep more ball than the opponent. And how to measure it? It's simple. Are we keeping the more ball than the opponent? And controlling the rhythm, it's like goal that we, especially on transitions, we control and win transitions. And how do we measure it? It's like are we winning the transitions or losing it? Yeah, so. And under that, it's like every age category. This is like G juniors, second level F juniors, and every category is like some idea that like what we want to do in the game. And the first part in here, like when I take my son's category, it's like level 4 D juniors. There's 5 against 5 game that the players are playing in the matches. What we try to achieve, 4 players can play the game together. This is team playing, like attacking, defending, and transitions. And there are some goals all of those things, and then playing roles like role number 1, role number 2, role number 3, and role number 4. What we want to do in that age category. This is like, for example, of it. But as I said, like if we have like a meeting with D junior coaches, and we take, for example, this thing here, and we evaluate it. Like, are these the things that the teams are doing in the teams? Are, if not, what should we be doing, and so on. So it's constantly changing all the time, like little by little. But what doesn't change is the big picture. Like every time in the beginning is like the big picture in the beginning of every section. But that's basically our coaching line thing. And later on, there's going to be lots of detailed things about how we teach the coaching line, and I will go through a little bit with few videos also. So, another questions? If not, we can go forward. Okay. So, this is the next question, and it's like, how do we work with players' role in youth categories? And it has something to do with coaching line thing also, as I said. And playing roles in youth categories, and so basically we have built it up like a system, like how many players are collaborating in the different age group. And I show you next the logic how it's going, but also what's inside of it, it's terminology that we use in different age groups, and also like tactical system we want to build like at the end of the like player path. And it's basically lots of triangle and with wide and deep players, and it's like something tactical perspective in our club. But if I go through like with the age categories, so it's like divided in 3 age categories based on our head of coaches. This is the youngest 3, like I'm not sure if this is U8 or U7, but this G juniors, but it's either way, it's about that. In youngest juniors, we focus on only roles on 1+3, and focus when the players start playing floorball is 1 player activity, and they are playing 3 against 3 matches in a small court in that age category, and game terminology is only transitions, like if you win the ball, try to make a goal. If you lose the ball, try to get it back, like in that sense, like so the players know that what is the goal of the game, like as its simplest way. And we always try to train rows number 1 and 3 together also. So because it's in my experience, like if we have good players in role number 3, like they can defend a little bit, it's the role number 1 player have to like get better, so because they have challenge also, like, so those are the 2 playing roles that we are doing in youngest category. In F category, it's 2 years, like G category is the youngest one, and it's only 1 year. F category, which next season is like, I think 2011 and 2012 born next season. Then we build up also like bring up rows number 2 and 4 a little bit into that, because the matches are being played 4 against 4 also in a little bit smaller court, so we work on pairs. That's the idea, like how we are doing it. And the idea is to get the player an idea that I'm not playing alone, I'm playing with someone. Like offensive pairs, like there's 2 attackers and 2 defenders all the time. So attackers work as a duo and defenders work as a duo, and they have like the idea that, okay, now if other defender is like going defend on the corner, I have to stay here in front of the net and like mark somebody or defend that area or whatever. Or like if attacker gets the ball up the attacking zone, the other attacker is like trying to, you know, make something smart that he's useful. So we work on pairs. And terminology, 2 different stages are coming in this side, so it's also attacking and defending. Transitions is when we lose or win the ball. It's the same goal, like we try to, if we win the ball, we try to make the goal, and if we lose the ball, we try to stop the opponent or win the ball back. But it's also like attacking, and it's a little bit method that we work on pairs. And I have some videos, I think, from the F juniors, if I can get it on. This is like roles number 1 and 2, if you can see it. We are the dark one playing against Oilers. Now it's like the idea that the attacker gets the ball in here and the other attacker is doing like something smart. So we work on pairs. The idea is like to get work with 2 players all together. And again, pair defenders to attacker, and then pair attacker to attacker.
Okay, Joonas, now it's a little look like for me that you are really specialized to forwards and to defenders and to attackers. But
Yeah.
is it true, or you switch them all the time, or how you work with this?
Yeah, we are changing the positions all the time. Like in every team, like we try to, that player doesn't specialize in like I'm always the right winger. We want as long as possible to change places, so the players, because it's developing the whole perspective for the players, that he sees the pitch from the other angle, and so we change places a lot. Other example from here is
Sorry. One more question. And for example, you have some system, for example, that okay, 1 month you will try to play offense, and 1 month in a row, all trainings you will be on the defense, or it's just okay, just switching how you want it, but not the same position like before. You try to lead or manage, or just you just work?
I think it's just like every coach has like they are always making the selection, but the guide is like, I think every coach understands it like that. We have to have the rotation, but I'm not sure, like it's dependable on the coach. Some have like this kind of a system, like okay, 1 month we are playing in these positions and then we change it, but it's more than like every player has to experience different. Like if we have like 4 playing places in F juniors, that every player has to be played in each one of those roles, and it's probably like it's not gonna work. Like every player isn't like playing in all the positions, but most of them are, and it's an instruction. We don't like follow it that tight. It's like coach's job to do it, but I think they're doing it pretty well.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and then this defensive clip. In here we are the white one, and the idea like here, like they are working in pairs, like other one is giving pressure, other attacker is like lower or something, and then idea that someone is in here, someone is like in here, so everybody doesn't just follow the ball. Like the idea is that also like one player is giving pressure here and the other one is holding on from the front of the net. So defenders are working in pair, like in here. Like as you can see, like this guy is giving pressure here and this guy is like following up his own guy in front of the net. So they are working defensively in pairs. And again, like the same clip. Because most of the other teams are lots of them are doing other clubs that in this situation, in this age category, all of them would have like run after the ball. Like so we try to teach them that okay, trust each other. Like one player is going there, you don't have to go, you can stay in front of the net and you have your own responsibility. And those are like the main points in F category.
Okay, sorry. That means that this video clip, it's primarily create for the players. You just show them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's for the players. Those videos are from the coaches on those teams. Yeah. But then it's the E category, and then matches are being played in 5 against 5 in that category. And so we try to learn a little bit of triangle game because the center is a new playing position in that age category, and it's always beginning of E juniors when it's normal court and 5 against 5, so it's a little bit hard for the players that realize where is the center and what should he do like in the court. So we try to focus on building up triangles like with the defender, center, and attacker, or both defenders and the center, or both attackers and the center. So we have always triangle in close to the ball, and someone maybe like in wide or deep or something. But still, the main focus is like 3 players collaboration, and we try to like the players at this point should be able to make one-timer passes like in that triangle. Like when they get the ball, they can pass it to the third player, and that's one of the key things in this category. And it's also like when you think of defending, like lots of teams in that age category are doubling the ball with 2 players and the center behind them, like in defensive zone or attacking zone or whatever, like that they are doing it a lot, so they can like build like that kind of a triangle. So this is like E junior example of triangle playing. These are 2008 born, I think from last season. Yeah. So this is like the first triangle comes in here. As you can see, like there's a triangle with these players in here. And then when the game goes on, it's also like 3 players like collaborating. And this one actually might be defender who is coming up there. And these 3 players are like collaborating that this player are playing the same game. He's jumping like top of the ball and giving the ball to back post. So it's quite nice goal, I think. Yeah, but it's an example of like E junior collaborating with 3 players. Yep, and then a little bit older juniors like D and C juniors, like I'm not sure of what the age group, but under 14 and under 16 might be the right it's always like 2 years in one letter, like D juniors. Next season they are 2007 and 2008. This season they were 2006 and 2007 born. Then it's logic goes on and on. So it's 4-player activity, which is the idea of in D juniors. Playing also like 5 against 5 in matches, and still we use like as terminology we use attack, defense, and transitions. Like, but it's often like a little bit more that in attacking zone when we are defending, it's a little bit different that we are defending in our own zone. So it might mean that we separate like the area also in two in this age category. I think we might do it in the future terminological wise. But the idea is like to bring out the 4th player. And it's actually, I don't have like a clip here, but I'm coaching this age category, so I have lots of clips in my way. But in our team, like we are like forechecking a lot with 4 players. Like 4 players are giving pressure all the time, and it's often like if we like in our own zone, we double, 2 players are behind them, and we combine with 4 players. And one of the key things, if in a previous category there were triangle, now we have to make also like wide or deep. Like 1 player always have to make space and give an option to wide or deep. And at this point, and it's important that it's important stage that we learn to use space in this age group, like the age group. I think I didn't have it in here, but I have it at my way. I have lots of clips. Maybe I can show some because I have it in our teams. Just a second. In here somewhere. Well, I think I can show you some. One clip in here maybe. So we are in here, and the idea is I'm not sure if it's a good positive or negative clip, but the idea is like in here, like play with 4 players, two of them are giving pressure and 2 of them is behind. So it's like basically 2-2-1 idea of playing, like in here, like 4 players. As you can see, like 4 players are defending and doing the same thing. So that's a defensive example of it. And when we go to C juniors under 16, also in that age category, the teams are going to play national matches like national wide. So there's going to be national championships in that point, and every focus is in 5 against 5. And then we have lots of different areas in also terminology, and then it's like also like we have some kind of formation like with 5 players, and terminological wise it's like attacking in 3 categories: defensive zone, middle zone, attacking zone, and also in every category like also transitions in defensive zone, middle zone, attacking zone. And terminology changed a little bit, and it's a different kind of trainings and practices, and 5 players have to do the same thing in each category, and that's the idea. And we specifically try to learn what is important in our like defensive zone attack or middle zone attack or attacking zone attack. so it's trained like specifically in C junior stages. And when I go to older juniors, like B juniors under 18, A juniors under 21, B juniors, it's pretty much the same as in C, but biggest difference is like we combine the aerial things and we combine transitions to it. So it means in these age categories, players have to think forward a lot. So we attack in a certain way, we lose the ball, we try to win the ball straight back. So the game, they have to be in control of the game in this age category, as in B, like playing good 5 against 5 floorball, and also anticipate, like if we get negative or positive transition, it's part of the game, and we're training a lot, train it a lot, like all together, like game goes on and on, like attacking, then negative transition, and then attacking or defending, depending on how is it going. And some example of our B junior who were in last season, I think they won almost every match, and we are again the attacking in this point. This is pretty good clip because they are like attacking, every 5 players are participating, and they are sometimes losing the ball and then winning it back. Every player are playing the game together. And they have pretty good balance, especially at the end of the clip. They have such a good balance so that they can control the game, because I think 2 or 3 times in this clip they shot and then win the ball straight back, because all the players were anticipating much faster than the opposite side, and there were open balls, and our team won it because they like this one, they were shot, our players straight there, and they're again shot, our player first in the ball, gets the free hit, scoring opportunity, and again our player, although he lost it, but then we are ready to make a forecheck after the negative transition. So that's like the idea that combine these different game stages in that point. And A juniors, the only difference is like in that point we are focusing also like playing against opponents. Like opponents are pretty good tactically in A juniors or at Divari, so we change little things regarding on who are we playing against, and that's the biggest difference in that. But that's like our idea of how the game is being built in the club, and as I said, like hope it answered also like how we're focusing on playing roles. First as a like one player, then a duo, then a triangle, then add like people to it, and focus on that. Another questions?
Yes, I have a question. But do you use some statistic, or what type of information is interesting for you?
It's I think that's one part that it's going to grow a lot in the future, and it already has. Lots of teams are. We don't have like like a club. We are now developing it, like which kind of information that we want to get from the game, like, and we are doing it all the time, and we are doing it with our men's and women's first teams, and trying to do it like which kind of info do they need, and that, but we don't have like a system that is being used in every like team or whatever they are. But it's one focus point that we are going to have like in the near future and right now. So it depends on the team, like how much time with the ball do we have against opponents, time. We are counting transitions and which part of the court are the transitions come. Are we winning them or are we losing them? And those kind of statistic, of course, like shots and which part of the pitch are we shooting and where is it going, those kind of things. But we don't have like that kind of a system, but we are going to have that kind of a system in near future.
Okay, thank you.
Another questions? If not, we can move forward to the 5th question, which is about working with the coaches in the club, like how much the coach can be pushed to the club's sports concept and how much do they have space to make their own way. It's a good question. I did it like this kind of thing, regarding on it, like basically like the club is, what club is doing are putting the frames, like inside these frames you can do your own painting. That's the idea, the way I see it. And the frames that we are like doing are the values, culture, terminology, playing big goals, like, and also which are important things for a certain age. So these are like club demands, like every team has to follow these ones, like our values, like that it has to be meaningful for everybody, it has to have some quality and has to be interesting, and those are the main things at this point what the club is wanting. And the culture, it means like playing culture, like and also training culture. How is the training organized? How everybody act there? How the game everybody act in the game? How is the planning go, like in every team? And which are important things that working as a team, like making clear rules and those kind of things. So it's a frame. And also terminology, which means that we want everybody to talk about floorball in the same way, so it's easier to understand. And I think I already explained the playing big goals, like we want to have the ball more than opponents, we want everybody to play together, and we want to control the rhythm of the game. And those are the big goals that everybody are going forward. And how they do it, it's up to coaches, like, but we want those 3 things to be involved, that everybody are doing something and everybody is trying to do something together, and goal of the thing is like have the ball more than opponent. And the coaches side, it's like planning, like the things like seasonal planning period and training planning, and which kind of trainings are they doing, like it's up to coaches. But it has to be in the line, like in the age group, so they don't do too hard trainings. Of course we have a lots of club trainings like they can use if they want to, but we don't make them like you have to use these and these trainings. So most of them do use them, but they don't have to. They can create their own trainings as long as the goal of the training is in line for the club's line. And also when they do the season planning, it has to be in line, like in this age category, these are the most important things, so it has to be in line. And the head of coaches are always checking the plans, like the seasonal plannings and period plans for the teams, and they give feedback and have a lot of discussion with the coaching staff about that. And then of course leading the team, like who are playing and how much, which kind of rules the teams have, tactics, like how are they like doing these big goals. It's up to them, like we don't have specific systems like you have to do it this way, but some kind of ideas like triangle idea is one of them, and those kind of frames. And of course, trainings and matches. What happens there, it's up to coaches, but it has to be again all in the line with the clubs. Of course, one thing is individuals, like meetings, programs, how do they lead it, which kind of programs they do, and also collaboration is one thing that these are like a little bit demands of the coaches also. Like we want everybody to do collaborate with other club coaches, other club staff, FBA coaches, and also school coaches if needed in some age group. So these are the things that coaches are responsible of. So basically it's about that. So it's like, as a club, we put some frames and we discuss a lot, and it doesn't go like that way that I'm like saying to everybody that you have to do this and that, but it's like we have conversations and we gather up information and we make notes and gather it up for the coaches, and everything is like coming from them, and it's easier to follow something that if you're like, if you know that I can have an effect on it, like I can have an effect how this club is doing coaching in certain age. They have to have that feeling, and I don't think it's not going to work that I would say to everybody that you have to do things my way exactly, but because every coach has their own way. But the frames have to be, because we represent the same club and we are like doing basically the same thing, everybody. So we have to have together frames. How are we doing it? And that's probably like my job, like to gather that info and make it as understandable as possible for the coaches that, okay, we feel together that we have to do this and that. But basically, these are the club and coach responsibilities. So, additional questions about this subject?
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you for the answer. And my question is, if your trainers or coaches are staying with the same team and moving up, or if they are staying at the category. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. It depends. It depends. Some of our coaches are going like from bottom to up with the team, but some of the coaches are like focusing on certain age group. Like some of the coaches have doing like order D and C, which is like grades 7 to 9 in normal elementary school, and they are doing like 3 years project, then go back, and then another team in 3 years project. But it's like it depends a lot in coach. And as a coach, we do lots of like individual plans for the coach. Like we ask questions, like they have to like answer the questions like, where do you see yourself like five years from here, or next year, and what would you want to do like regarding on coaching? So we try to find every coach that kind of motivating environment, but it's quite hard. Like some years, like most of the coaches want to coach like A and B juniors or like adults, and it's of course at that point we can select the best coaches like that we have in those places. But if some coaches aren't satisfied, they will like go to another club, which is quite okay in that point if like we don't have a good place for coach. But so we try to help also coaches to go forward or go forward in our club or in different clubs. And it's good that like we just like had the story in our website, which said that we had like, I think it's like 15 coaches that we had in our junior side who are now coaching at some point around the world. Some of them are in Switzerland and or in Finland, who are coaching in top leagues like NLA, NLB, and Switzerland, or for Salibandiliga in here. So it's like we have managed to help coaches like a lot. But as a long answer to your question, which was like, it depends on the coach. It's like, I think maybe most of them are going up with the same team, and some of them like come back down and start and focus on certain age group. Another questions? No, if not, we can go to the last question, which was about shooting. So it's like, it would be good, like have some video material, but I didn't have any like in this time frame. I got the questions yesterday from Marek, so it's like I didn't have time to make it. But it's about like approaches to shooting or shooting technique that we apply in our training process, and like methodological fundamentals and individual development, and how strict is shooting skills defined and trained. It's like I put this like, it's from our technical tactical like a coaching line, which is like step by step to shooting, like it's like more detailed in there, but it's like basically in here it's like what's the headlines of it. So basically like the path goes like this. Like first we focus on technique, and the most important thing is like the how do I say it, like the body, like how is the body when you shoot, and how you use the and use the legs and that, and we start with stable situations, and quite fast we move to small movements, because I think it's easier for players to understand and the shooting when you shoot in small movement, and it's often like straight and then side, like using forehand only, and we do also lots of only forehand practices in the, especially I think F junior stages, and because it's helping the players to get the right to drop their position a little bit, like get right kind of the body in right kind of position for shooting. Even though we do like forehand technical drills, which you can't use backhand but only forehand. It's a Swedish method, but they use a lot, but it helps the shooting technique. And also we try to make the players to learn to shoot also in or out sweeper, like in sweeper on this side, or out in sweeper on the other side, in small movements. So it's helping to use the blade of the stick a little bit. So 1 and 2 from these are about the technique, and also using the blade and using your body when you shoot, those two things. And then we add bigger movement, and it's also like shooting from movement, and like there are several drills that we do in that, but it's a little bit different, that you have like you can add like 2 movements before you shoot, or it's just only with the ball and 1 movement. So it's like another step from shooting. And then there's one-timer shots, and it's also starting with in role number 2, like in F juniors we started a little bit. As I said, one of the game focuses is in F juniors is working as a pairs. So we focus on the other guys' position.
Joonas, sorry.
Yeah.
Can you talk age about your category, because we don't know this? Thank you.
Yeah, it's true. I'm just so familiar to use the letters. But F is like under 11 or under 10, I think, or under 11. But when like basic things are being learned, we try to do it like I check it from here. It's like these are categories. F is under 10 and E is like under 12. Like most of the basic things are being learned in this age group. Like under 12 years old, players should have been like basic skills. They know how to shoot, and then of course when they get older, they get more power to it and everything. But the basic technique should be okay after like they are like 11 or 12. So basic technique should be in that point should be okay. So in under 10 years old, I think we'll start a little bit of shooting technique in different sides, and also in E and D, which means like under 12 and under 14. The main focus, especially in under 14, is shooting in different sides and different positions, one-timers, and because the problem is that in younger juniors, players can score if they can shoot in own movement, they can like score lots of goals. But the problem is when they get older, they don't have time to get their favorite shot. Like most of the players do have like a favorite shot that they shot it always at the same time, same way, and that's why we want to focus in under 14 and under 12. It's a lot also in one-timers, and it's also like step-by-step thing, like first from the front, because it's easier to shoot from the ball, it's coming from the front, and then also like front angles, like from left and right, like but also from the front, then straight from the both sides and turn it, like use your middle body to turn the shot. When the pass is coming in here, shot comes on the other right direction. And the hardest one is of course like shot from the back angles, like ball which is coming from back angle, and you have to have a good position for shot. But I think these things are always present, like also like in U18, U21. Still at the morning practices we do a lot, especially one-timer shots in different angles, and focus a lot of players body position and those kind of things, because they have a lots of things to improve in that point. And often the players are motivated to learn it like late, because in younger juniors, as I said, they have their favorite shot, they will do it several goals by using it. But when they get older, they play in U18, U21 or adult matches, they realize that they don't have time to do it like only with their favorite shot. They have to shot from the ball, like which is coming wherever, like they can select that I can have only these kind of balls and these kind of positions. If they want to make goals, they have to be like a little bit more innovative in shooting, as a, like, I don't know if it's right English term to say it, but anyway, the idea is like, so this is a long way to go, like on different sides. And also we use lots of like combinational training, like first shot from the move and then one-timer from these different positions and also from the air. And that's like step-by-step thing. And one problem is like, I think that some of the coaches are too anxious to go to the one-timer shots in junior stages before the players even know how to shoot in all by themselves. And it's a little bit of problem, because coaches are sometimes too anxious to go like forward and you know, they don't have that much patience to like build good like technical quality for the players and use much time to it. And but we are trying to focus it, be ahead of coaches, like just focus first only on shoot from movement, and then when the players can do it, you can do it easy one-timers and then make it harder. But I have seen like our teams training a lot, like lots of hard passes from behind and coaches are frustrated because the players don't hit the goal and because it's too hard for them. But yeah, but this is like the guideline to it, and it's of course matter of the coaches, like how detailed information they can give to the players. And we try to have in every team like someone who has experience of playing, like good experience, so he can show it to the players that this is like how it's been done, like shooting and everything. It's more easy to the players. So, additional questions?
No, it's look not, but it was. I have so many pages of my